And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside.
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality.
And now,
America's something completely different.
Reality radio show for men.
Good afternoon. I'm
Live from Los
speaking to you
Angeles,
live just
it's
outside.
Spencer Kobren.
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
There's some sort of a
What I'd
loop,
really
dude.
like
I
to
think
do
it's
is
coming
put
through your
the greatness
computer.
of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you.
It is.
You just call up?
About life and about
Hey guys, Joe's having some technical problems as usual, so hold on.
Something
Radio show for men.
Good afternoon. I'm
Live from
speaking
Los
to you
Angeles,
live just
it's
Just keeps looping and looping and looping. And I'm turning down Joe's sound so that you guys don't have to deal with that. Hey guys, welcome to the broadcast. While Joe handles that, I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out. Sorry that we're a little late today. It happens. And I'm not going to say why we're late. But you can blame the guy who's not on screen right now. Our phone number is 888-659-3727. That's 888 and looping 659-3727. Still looping, by the way. This is the Hair Loss Show. We are live. I'm live from Los Angeles. Joe Tillman, who will eventually be here, is live from Vancouver, British Columbia. And hanging out.
Is that better?
Sorry that we're a little
And the
late
loop
today.
is still there.
It happened. So essentially, Joe, if you could hear me, your audio sound, your computer sound, or the sound of the stream is coming through your software. I don't know. Should we start all over again, guys? What do you think? Let me check out the chat. Damn. Joe was washing his hair. Yes, he was. Guys, if you're new to the broadcast, don't know who we are, why I'm here. So essentially, Joe, coming through me. You know what, Joe? What you may have to do is log out and log back in and see what happens. How's that? Check out the chat. I sound good though. I gotta tell you. Now, let's just hope, Joe, if you're listening, that something like this doesn't happen during our live conference. You guys are basically the beta testers of what we're doing for the Global Hair Loss Summit. But if you're new to the broadcast, just tuning in, just watching, if you're listening on iTunes Radio or iHeartRadio, this is the Hair Loss Show. And with that, because we are live streaming on the internet, I mean, where else would we be streaming, comes technical issues because we're doing this all ourselves. But I want you to know that if you have any questions or concerns about your hair loss, I just so happen to be the founder of the American Hair Loss Association. I am the author of The Bald Truth, the first complete guide to preventing and treating hair loss, which was the first consumer guide ever to be, in hair loss, ever to be published by a top 4 publishing house. And what does that mean? Sadly, most books on hair loss prior to 1998 were all a bunch of bullshit selling you herbs, shit that was written by physicians trying to sell their shit. And when I was going through the initial throes of my hair loss, there was nothing out there, nowhere where I can turn to get any real information about this $4 billion a year industry and this treacherous, let's see if Joe's working. Sadly, most books are still coming through. I don't know what to tell you, Joe, but you could figure it out. It probably has to do with the setting in your software. But most everything out there was really just self-promoting, talking about a specific type of procedure or product or a service. There was one woman, I'm not going to name her book, but it was this woman sold so many books because it was the only thing that you can find back in the day in a Barnes & Noble or initially on Amazon, when Amazon first came on the scene. I think it was 96 or 95. Maybe 94. And it was 12 steps on how to grow your hair using herbs and shit like that. I'm not going to name who this person was. She was on television. It was insane. I bought her book, guilty as charged, because that was all we fucking had. Now I have to say the opposite is true. There's so much information and so much misinformation. It makes it practically impossible for anyone, unless they're really doing a deep dive, to get any legitimate help or information about anything in this field. It was insane. Yeah, I'm still coming back, Joe. So the reason we started to do this program and why I got on the air 20 some odd years ago was, well, a couple of reasons. One, the book came out, and just for you new guys getting a little history, and I did a couple of local radio shows in New York, and in one radio show, we fucking crushed. We killed. Hold on. It's on my end, you're saying, Joe. Yeah, I'm still coming back, Joe. So you're saying that the loop is on my end. So the reason we started to do this program and why I got on the air 20 and why is it so delayed ago was, oh, you know what? It's very possible, dude. It's very possible. Guys, if it is, I will apologize to Joe right now. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still coming back, Joe. So you're saying that the loop is on my end. So the reason we started to do this program... That would make sense if, in fact... And why is it so delayed? Yeah, it's not on my end. Check. Very possible. Guys, if it is, I will apologize to Joe right now. Let's see.
Thing is just God's.
I'm apologizing to Joe. Joe, I apologize. It was on my end. It was because I had your page up when I got the URL for GFQ. So, guys, now I can't hear you at all, though. So, guys, I apologize. That was my technical fuck up. Let's start the show again.
Something completely
I'm
different.
just kidding. Guys, give us a call, 888-659-3727. While Joe gets his audio back up and running, because he was working really hard to fix a problem that really wasn't his. God, I'm so sorry, man. Let me just put it out there. Today has been a very difficult day. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. And I will also say that this is probably the most enjoyable part of my business life at this point. I love doing the show for you guys. I love coming on live, answering your questions. And I know that I didn't finish the about me aspect of things. But just so you know, we're two guys who can answer your hair loss questions and tell you the truth. All we do is hustle truth on this program. That's all I've been doing for 23 years. And to get back to the radio show, we crushed on local radio in New York, and I was offered an opportunity to do a hair loss show. And I was like, it came out of fucking thin air. I was like, what the fuck? Never even thought about it. And fast forward, we were here on the internet. Joe, how are you, man? Sorry about that, dude. I'm really sorry. It's been a rough morning.
Good. Can you even hear me?
I can.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
What I thought,
motherfucker.
What I thought started out as a really like inspirational morning turned out to be really, just more bullshit.
Well, here's the way I look at it.
Not going to get into it, but go ahead.
At least it's not Monday.
You know what I have to tell you?
A week of whatever you're dealing with, more to look forward to. Now it's Friday. Can wrap it up.
Oh no! Whatever I deal with, works 7 days a week. It's just the way that it is. My world is a 7-day-a-week world. Guys, the phone number is 888-659-3727. Yeah, I think these new headphones, I've used them before. They jet out a little bit. I like my other ones that are a little bit more flush, but these sound so much better. The other ones are just, they're all frayed and shit.
Ghetto. What brand? What are they?
These are Bose, but it's
okay.
Here. But
okay. That means nothing to me.
I could wear my Beats, but they hurt after a while.
You could wear your Beats, yeah. And you look like you're trying too hard if you do.
Maybe. There's a lot of guys in this field that look like they're trying too hard.
Oh God, I almost went there. That was almost a great segue,
yeah.
but I avoided that.
But I will.
Top Star in the chat room says Navy beard on JT or diver beard. Well, I am certified, so it could be a diver beard. But no, it's a Great White North beard. Haven't shaven in a while. I trimmed the below and just above and a little bit right here. Trim this from getting too long. It's just a Great White North beard.
Yeah, I did a beard a few weeks ago. I don't think I was actually on the air with the full beard, but I got to tell you, man, gray on the sides, it's not a good look. I used to enjoy wearing a beard when I was younger, when it was dark.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the gray chin, the goatee area. And I wouldn't even mind when this turns gray. It's starting to turn gray. But something about the cheeks for me.
This isn't even gray anymore. It's just white.
It's white, yeah.
It's just disappeared. Just completely gone white. That's okay, though.
All right, guys, listen, we had a full board a second ago, so call back, 888-659-3727. Looks like we had a couple of European callers, and that may have been New York. So our lines are open. Look, if I'm fucking here today, anybody, you guys all should be calling in.
That's right. Is it on your end? Do you hear the siren?
I did.
On my end.
All right, guys, let's take a phone call. I'm going to stop trying to do a show. I'm just going to talk to people. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hi, are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Hi, yeah, my name's Peter, and I'm calling from Newcastle in northeast England.
Hey, Peter, man, it's great. How are you guys doing in northeast England?
Oh my God! So we've been. I'm probably the same with you. We've been sort of further measures have been put in place. The pubs now close at 10 o'clock at night, which is a bit of a nightmare. I don't know if you know the culture around here, but you don't want to leave the pub at 10 o'clock at night. Let me put it that way.
Well, let's put it this way: we can't even go
to Scotland.
We can't even go to a pub. We can't even go to a bar. There's no bars open.
Can you imagine if there are no pubs available in Newcastle?
Do you know what? I can't, and I don't want to. I mean, you've just made me feel incredibly uneasy. I was feeling nervous anyway, and you've made me feel much worse.
Well, my hope
getting the sweats.
My hope is that you would feel better. That at least you can go in and have a fucking drink, because I can't.
No, it makes him sweat because now he knows what the potential is.
Is that U.S. wide, or is that just where you are?
No, that's in California. That's the state of California. Now, there's other.
Yeah.
New York is the same. There are other states that are the same as well, and there's some states like the state of Florida that they've kind of got it down pat. They have the restaurants and bars open, but there has to be a safe social distance. So at least they're able to survive. But I mean, Los Angeles is burning. I got to get the fuck out of here, man.
My God.
Hey, caller. So you say Newcastle? Is that Newcastle upon Tyne?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I didn't know if there were two separate places or not.
Yeah, there are. There's a number of. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. No, I know it because there's a particular celebrity that I did an interview with and talked about his nasty hairline that happens to also live in Newcastle upon Tyne.
Yeah. Name drop. Name drop. Name drop.
Yeah. Go on. Who is it?
I didn't. Oh, okay. Kyle Christie. He's in Newcastle.
Oh, right. Okay.
He's like, who the fuck is Kyle Christie?
Exactly. Who's Kyle Christie? Yeah. Anyway, so what are you calling about?
So, well, first of all, I just want to say thanks for the show. I've heard a few now, and it's just such a nice feel like you're not alone. So, long story short, I found your show thanks to lockdown, because I was going to get transplant surgery in Turkey earlier this year, having saved up a few bob. Having saved up some money, and my mum watched a program over here called This Morning.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's I've got to be honest, it's not my kind of thing. It's not what I watch, but she watched it, and she saw a guy on there talking about this show.
Specs.
Yeah, Specs.
Yes, exactly. That's right. Specs. And she basically said, look, she was worried about me going anyway across to Turkey. She just saw, a bunch of cowboys anyway. And she was like, you've got to listen to this show. You've got to listen to this Bald Truth thing. You've got to try and do some more research, put things on hold. Don't just, jump in with both feet. Just take your time. And
your mother may have just saved your life, my man.
Yeah, 100%.
She gave you life, and she may have saved your life.
I mean,
and hats off to Specs for his play in that as well.
Absolutely.
Not giving you life, but the second part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite intense to hear it in those terms. It was. I mean, to be honest, it's quite an emotional thing for me to even talk about now.
Of course.
Because when you put it in those terms, it's just a bit. I mean, it's pure chance. My mum works full time. She wouldn't normally have seen the show. I wouldn't have normally had been delayed to go across there. It's just all these things fell into place. And anyway, I just wanted to say that it's really opened my eyes to your industry. And the body that sort of where you have a collection of trusted surgeons. Is it the
IAHRS? Now I want to make it clear, when we say trusted surgeons, these are all guys who are doing hair transplant surgery for the most part full time. They all have a lot of cases under their belt. They've all been able to prove that they have state of the art facilities, that they really focus on hair, that they do everything that needs to be done in order for people to have the best possible results. But that doesn't mean that you can't get fucked up by anybody. And I always put that out there. This is cosmetic surgery, but at least you have a fighting chance if you decide to go with an IAHRS member.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? I take that on board as well. I think, I always felt, I was saving some pennies going across to Turkey, and of course, you're right. You could go anywhere, and bad things can happen. But I guess from a probability perspective, the chance of those things going wrong are probably much higher. If all of this hadn't happened, and if I hadn't found you guys and all of that.
Well, it really depends, on who you decide to go to in Turkey. For the most part, the more expensive clinics in Turkey, and there's a handful of clinics and surgeons who are doing really great state-of-the-art work, but they're very difficult to find because the entire country has become the hair transplant, tourism capital of the world. You go to Istanbul airport, and I've had many images sent to me, and it's just people walking around with bandages on the back of their head. If you're walking around town, it's literally insanity. And the vast majority of these clinics are just pop-up clinics. They hire sometimes unskilled labor and train them on the job, and these are usually young people, usually young women.
Oh, my God.
Usually young women who are performing surgery, and they've just maybe they've taken a course, maybe not. Maybe they just learned on the job. You may be in a room with 10 other individuals having surgery with 10 other teams at the same time. It's like a fucking mill.
Do you know what? I'm really, really shocked to hear that. I mean, obviously, I'm aware of things like Botox going wrong, where people are getting injections in their face by, people are basically just part-time, with no skills whatsoever. I had no idea that was the sort of thing that was going on with hair transplants as well.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know what your idea was. Like, what was your impression of what it was like to go to Turkey to get a hair transplant, and where did you get this impression from? What did you see that put that thought in your head to go there to begin with?
Well, I have got to be honest. I've had there was a mate of mine who'd gone across and had it done, and his hair didn't look that bad to begin with, and he came back and he was just like, oh look, it's much cheaper, and it was great, and I got a holiday and all of that sort of thing, and it just felt, I don't know if it was feeding into. I just wanted a quick fix, I didn't want to. It was sort of stressing me out, and I've got to be honest. I don't think I realised how serious it was. I just sort of thought you'd get a few hairs put in, and it would just grow back. I didn't realise how intense the whole process could be.
Right, but did your friend actually try to tell you to go to the clinic he went to? Did he give you any sort of reason why they were better than anyone else, or try to help you set up an appointment?
He's not that kind of guy, to be honest. No,
okay.
It's like surface. He talks about lasses and football, and we do. That's why this show has been great, because he didn't want to even engage with me. He didn't want to talk about it. He was almost like, we know, because he's he's a good mate and that, but he basically doesn't want to talk about it at all.
The reason I ask is because there's another layer to this that you're not aware of. A lot of times when patients come from outside of Turkey to have their procedure done, when they go home, they're actually asked by the clinic to tell anyone and everyone they can, and if they can send more people back to them, then they'll get a commission. Just regular patients that they're just flying in to get their hair sorted out, and then they go home, and they wind up going home as recruited, almost like sales agents for the clinic. So one clinic can have hundreds of people out around the world, wherever they live, trying to sign up people that they know to also have a hair transplant at the same clinic. And everyone that they send, they'll get a commission of maybe a couple $100 here and there. And it's so bad that a lot of influencers that you'll see on YouTube are that have been to these clinics, they're also getting direct referral commissions for anyone that sees their YouTube video and goes. This is actually a perfect segue just to address what you're going through and this specific subject. I've been hammered by this marketing firm in Berlin, Germany, trying to get me to sign on to fly to Turkey with a friend, anyone I want, or I can give this away to a friend, to go to Turkey, have a free hair transplant, and to document it on their behalf on YouTube. And it's all in exchange for two people flying to Turkey, first class the whole way, all expenses paid, in exchange for a free hair transplant that's documented on YouTube. And so what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of these people on YouTube talking about their Turkish experience, they got that same that same deal or something similar to it. So if you were to do your research and you found people on YouTube talking about their great experience at Clinic X in Istanbul or anywhere really.
So I have seen that. I've seen. I didn't realize that was. So I had no idea. That's really fascinating. My mate, he's not that kind of guy, as I say. And to be honest, we've not had that conversation. I don't think he even knows I want to get.
Look. The whole thing is, and I think Joe spelled it out pretty well. But this is a very unique time in our history for many reasons. And one thing that's very unique is the fact that people can come out of nowhere and become quote unquote influencers by just putting a lot of legwork into, and it takes a lot of work, into YouTube, Instagram. There are influencers in all aspects of this field. There are people called wigfluencers on Instagram. And these are young women, usually, who are dealing with androgenetic alopecia, who start to document stuff, and then they're essentially just, reviewing people's wigs and working for free wigs, and then the information that's out there isn't necessarily in the best interest of the potential wig purchaser, All of the ins and outs of wearing hair aren't necessarily provided. And we're just talking about putting hair on. When you're talking about having surgery, when you go on YouTube and on Instagram and you see all this shit in your feed, 99% of it is complete and utter bullshit. And if you can't trace back and understand who that so-called influencer or expert is, if they don't have time on tissue, or if they don't have, time spent in this game with respect from third-party credibility, whether it's Consumers Digest or belonging to other major organizations or someone who's been in the field for 20 years, you can't trust these people. And I do believe there are a handful of people who are trying their best to provide decent information, but they're lost as well. They don't know where all the bodies are buried. They haven't been around long enough. They trust their surgeon. Maybe they had a decent experience, but they don't realize that 50 other people feel like their lives have been destroyed by the same doctor.
I mean, I've got to be honest, that is exactly what I encountered. And that's why you want the quick fix, because you get so bombarded with crap that you have no idea what's right and what's wrong, who to believe, So you just think, right, I'm going to go, my mate's been to Turkey, it's cheap, bosh, that's it. And I am just so grateful that I didn't go, I've got to be honest.
Well, I think it's good that you have the opportunity to now step back and reset and figure out what you want to do. So let's move on. We've given everyone the lesson that they don't want to hear. And, and the lesson is most of what you see on social media when it comes to hair loss or hair transplants, whatever side of the industry that you're looking, is a lie. It's bullshit, or it's a partial lie, or it's not the full truth. When you see images of like I brought up the wig thing, of women wearing, wigs, everything is in the right light with the right angle and this and that. If there's an agenda behind it, if there's some sort of a, sales code or whatever they're called, those are the things you need to watch out for, in every aspect. And when you're talking about hair transplant surgery, again, if it's like, DM me for the deets, or, I'll give you a consultation for this much money and stuff like that, you gotta think to yourself, why? Why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and I'm going to keep listening, and I'm actually going to, I'm going to do my research.
Do you have any specific questions right now about any doctors or anything? We could take some time.
No, do you know what? I've just been so naive, and I'm almost ashamed of myself. I'm just, again, I'm so grateful. Thanks, and maybe when I've done more research and I actually can be a bit more clued up, I'll come back to you, but thank you so much.
All right, man. Listen, just remember, surgery is the last resort, and, we need to thank Spencer Stevenson for your save, because if he wasn't on that broadcast and he didn't have the ability to get that type of press, your mom never would have seen that show, and you probably would have eventually gone to Turkey.
Actually, we need to thank COVID for existing, because if it didn't exist, then he wouldn't have seen the show.
That's true. Jesus.
Sorry, that was dark.
Thanks to COVID and thanks to Specs, there's no doubt I'd have been in Turkey. I've got to be clear that I would have 100%. I was going to Turkey. So thank you.
All right, man. Well, listen. Good luck.
Guys.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Thanks for calling.
He's like, I didn't want the entire lesson, man. I just wanted to say how I found you guys and ask a fucking question. But you know what? He opened that door.
What else do you want? I've been gone for 2 weeks. I gotta vent.
That's true.
I gotta open up. I gotta talk.
Guys, the phone
I'm
number,
actually in back. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go
Okay, get the phone number out.
888-659-3727.
Boom, good one. I actually wanted to talk about this this email I'm getting, and my plan. I'm going to tell everyone my plan. I'm going to go ahead and engage with this marketing firm, and I'm going to ask for the contract. And then I'm going to make a follow-up video. And I say a follow-up video because the clinic that they're trying to get me to go to is the same clinic I documented as a fake patient having a consultation 5 years ago when I was in Istanbul.
I love that.
So it's just like the perfect crime.
Yeah, I love that. People are so stupid.
They really are.
So many people in this industry are just such fucking idiots, man. They're so goddamn clueless. It's the way it is.
And is there a caller?
Yeah, there is.
I thought. Oh, okay. I thought it was like. Oh, I thought you. I was waiting for you to say, "Let's take another call."
Let's take another
but
call.
You didn't. There's dead space. Okay.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from? Hello. Yes. Hi.
Spencer, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you? Is this Dante?
What's up, man?
So, say that again?
Is this Dante?
Absolutely.
How are you, man?
Dante.
Joe, how are you?
Good, man. How are you? Long time no hear.
I know. I'm okay, thank you. You know, I was listening last week, no show, but the week before, when you guys were talking about the hair pieces, and I'm listening, and I wasn't able to call from where I was, but I was listening, and you brought me up, but you couldn't remember my name. But Spencer had the D, which is great.
I did, but now it's funny. I have better recall today for some reason.
You do.
And
very good today.
She's like, shit, Dante.
Very good. So yeah, I haven't checked in for a while, but I'm always listening. If I miss a show, I'll get it. Watch it on the the network.
Yeah.
But so just a quick story. So I'm not wearing the piece anymore. The little piece in the back, because what happened was, you had suggested that I try to do this myself. Get a piece, try to practice, be able to do it myself, which I never did. So I was always going to the shop to get it done, and the virus hit.
That was it?
And obviously, they were closed for 3 months. I caught the virus in the middle of March.
Oh, my God.
I'm fine. Worked out okay for me, fortunately.
Good.
But, the piece actually came off after 2 weeks into the whole closure. And I just left it off. So now I'm using Topic, and everyone likes it better. They say, it looks more natural, it looks a lot better. And actually some of the hair in that back top of my head and towards the the crown and back grew back a little bit because, when they
shave
with
it.
the piece, it rips your hair out, even if they don't shave it. So I have pictures of me with nothing back there, and now it's a little better. It's not great, but it's a little better. I'm getting away with it. But obviously I'm still addicted, and I'm still looking around for... trying to see if I can get a little work done. And like I had told you guys a while ago, maybe some beard hair. I've been doing research for the doctors that do beard because it's going to go to the, middle back of my head. So,
Well, so let's talk about, so you're using Topic now, and your family says, or whoever is telling you, says it looks better. What do they mean by that? They didn't think
not,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, it's not as full. But it blends in better because it's my own hair. The Topic mixes in. I comb it through, and it, you can still see that there's baldness there, but there's some coverage, and I think they say it looks more natural. Because I guess where the piece and my own hair clashed, I guess you could tell a little bit if you really took a look.
Well, I think it's you're talking about surgery again. And right now you are okay with 64. Topic. You're 64, but you're okay with Topic. Your family members are telling you that you look good. What do you want, dude? And what the fuck do you want?
That's what it comes down
to. I don't know. I'll see what happens. I'll have to see what happens, Well, no one's ever satisfied, right, at anything, for the most part.
Look, I have to tell you that I'm younger than you, but I'm still, I'm getting up there. And I'm trying to become much more satisfied with shit in life. I'm enjoying doing the show right now. I had the aggravating time before the broadcast, and I'm like, come on the air, and I get to speak to my peeps and enjoy this broadcast and help some people. That's very enjoyable. So I'm trying to have gratitude for that. I woke up today. I can see. I've got wood. None of your business, but, I'm still doing okay. All of that stuff is, something to be grateful for. Would I like more hair and not having to paint and spray my head? Absolutely. 100%. Today was like I had to get ready the last minute. And I was also aggravated. So I'm like blow drying my hair. I'm like, fuck, it's not staying straight. I'm spraying it. I'm like, God damn it. And then that's when you start to think, if I only had 1,000 more hairs in that area, I could do it. I can do it tomorrow. I could walk right down the block and say, Dr. So-and-so, you have an open space? Listen, I want to get a quick transplant. Or call them a day in advance. It would cost me nothing. But I don't do it. You know why? Because I know what the possible downside is because I have too much hair to lose. And so do you, Dante.
No, I know that. That's why I've been just talking for about a few years now. Haven't done anything and pulled the trigger on anything. But it's nice to think about it. Maybe it keeps me going, mentally. Just to know what's out there. It's possible, right?
Look, I think about, that the bunny ranch is still out there. That keeps me going. Joe didn't even hear that, man. Joe didn't even hear that joke. But listen, I get it, Dante. I get it. But, be grateful for what you have. And, surgery is always going to be there. And you are at a point in your life. Joe, you're typing really loud. You are at a point in your life where, it's funny. John Cole put something in our private message group. And he was showing images of, I think it was the CEO of Pepsi, and just looking at his progression of hair loss from his 40s to his 60s to his 80s. And a lot of people say, well, if you're in your 40s or 50s, you're safe. You're definitely safe for a hair transplant. Now, this guy was transplanted when he was 50 years old. And if they utilize the hair, move the hair via FUE, on top and above what is considered the sweet spot of the donor region, this guy would have been fucked.
Right.
Because they didn't estimate that, wait a second, this guy's going to progress that much from the age of 70 to 80? That shit could happen.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I know.
So you just have to be mentally prepared for that. Like right now, even if you get worse, would it be worse for you to get worse and then have visible scarring? Or would it be would you feel better just, slowly progressing without the telltale signs that you're scarred up?
Well, the scarring never bothered, and we talked about that. A lot of the young guys are concerned about that. Never bothered me at all. It just never did. I do have, because I have, I'm an old timer in this. I have some cobblestones that are full of hair. Like if I shaved my head, you're going to see some cobblestones because back in the old days, I think a lot of guys wound up with cobblestones on top, and the where the hairs were put in. So, but it's not bad. I mean, it's really not bad at all. But the scars never bothered me. No. But I figure maybe I don't know how many good years you have left. It doesn't make sense doing it 5 years from now. So
no, you may not even have a good year left, dude. That's the whole point.
Yeah, you may not.
We don't fucking know. I know guys my age who are dead. They just dropped dead. People from high school. I have a friend from college, and he was this was about 5 years ago. Speaking to him on the phone one week. Next week, see his Facebook page. His wife says he's dead.
I had a friend just die last week, bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Really?
Just dropped dead, heart attack. Yeah.
So I think to myself, first of all, I stopped drinking the worst year possible. This fucking year. So I think to myself, why am I taking care of myself so much, whatever? You know why? Because you said, you got to have hope. But you also have to be grateful for and kind of live in the moment. And, a lot of younger people they're unable to do that. I think you have, today, obviously, is a good day. You're calling the bald truth. You sound incredibly lucid. You're still youngish, even though it doesn't sound like you are. But if you're able to exercise, move around, go out, live your life, to me, that's still being young. What do you think, Joe?
I think as long as you can still eat the way you eat normally, breathe normally, walk normally, piss and take a dump normally, then everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. And especially when I got slapped in the face with this virus, I wasn't terribly sick, but I was sick enough, and I didn't have to go to the hospital. But, you realize that, during that time, at any point in time, I was going to sleep at night scared shit because, am I going to wake up during the night, not be able to breathe? Am I, going to be, is this going to be a problem tomorrow morning? That went on for like 10, 12 days until you get over that, what they call, get over that hump of days where it shouldn't turn against you. And after that, I work far too much, and, I don't really do enough for myself, I don't believe, and I think this is a real turning point for me. So I really, like you said, enjoying the show now. Yeah, I'm starting to enjoy my work now because, I look at it differently, than I did. It's just happy to be around. Yeah, it's a
and I have to
huge
say,
difference.
You caught the virus. I've been lucky enough, knock on wood, and not having to deal with that. But I mean, I really feel like all of our lives have changed to such a degree that, I will really, I guess it depends on the election as well, but I will really appreciate being able to live a normal life more than I ever did. Now, a lot of people will forget. They'll go right back into the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I won't. I will not.
Well,
so, yeah.
Because you realize how much you miss right now. For 6 months already, we really can't do that much, and you realize that.
You know what I would normally do after this? And guys, hold on, we'll take your call in a second. What I would normally do after this program is I'm not drinking now, I said, but I probably would be drinking. I would go across the street, and I'd get myself a really good meal and some wine, and I would enjoy some really good company and stumble home. And you know what? I fucking miss that, man.
Yeah.
I really miss
that. The fact that there's a strip bar with a buffet across the street has nothing to do with what he just said.
Legs and eggs. That's what they call that in the morning.
Legs and eggs.
I've never heard that one. That's great.
All right, Dante. Listen, it's great here. I'm so glad that you're well and that you. I hope you're immune to the virus now.
Well, I still have the antibodies. So 5 months in, I was tested again for antibodies, and they're still there. Whatever they're worth, no one really knows, but at least they're still there. So that's positive, I guess.
Well, and also that you're well, and you had no long-term adverse effects.
I was tired. It probably took me like 4 months. I was still tired. I would still be out of breath at times walking up the stairs, not doubled over.
Yeah.
And I work out all the time, and I couldn't work out for, it was like probably 8 weeks I didn't work out, which is unheard of for me, for my career of working out. Yeah, it took about 8 weeks to, about 4 months before I got back to normal with my, my lung capacity, Yeah. And then a lot of people say the same thing, it lingers, it just lingered.
Look, 10 years from now, and I'm going to talk about this at this conference that we're doing, we're going to be thinking about the world a lot different as well. And we're going to thinking about this time in history and what we did during this time in history. And did we decide to, you went through it, so, you survived COVID. But there are people who are not going to emotionally survive it, even if they didn't get the disease or the virus. There are people who are not going to be able to survive it financially. There are people who,
true.
It's the world is forever changed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting to see what is written about in the history books, how things were handled, and how life is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. So, listen, dude, I'm glad you're well. I'm glad you got the piece off, because that's got to be a nice little respite.
Yeah, I no longer have a stiff neck every morning from trying not to sleep on the back of my head in case it moves and all that. So that's good. I'm actually happy about it. Yeah.
I'm glad you're free, man.
Yeah, I'm free.
All right. Welcome to the painting club. It's not so bad.
No, it's okay. I like it.
All right.
I like it.
Take it easy.
All right, guys. Great talking to you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
I do find it interesting that when you tell people that you paint your head, initially they're kind of like, oh, that's really weird. And then when they're in the club, they're like, this is pretty all right.
Yeah.
It's not so terrible. Let's see who this is. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was just going to say it's addictive. Once you start using it, it's hard to stop because it's so good.
I don't wear it all the time. And I was, especially during the lockdown, and I'll catch myself sometimes like in the side mirror, and I'd be like, oh, man, this is not good.
I still have memories of in my early mid-20s when the only concealer that was out there, GLH, good looking hair, hair in a can, sold on late night television by the master himself, Ron Popeil. And I used to order that shit. And I've told the story before. I never could get the color match. I thought my hair was blonder or lighter in color than it really was. So I'd use this stuff going right down the middle, and I'd have to use a lot of it. And I looked like a skunk.
Yeah.
I still have pictures.
Yeah.
And I looked like a skunk. And I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop using it.
My nephew is being
is.
born, and we went to Maryland. And I think I was living in New York at the time. And I just faded in. That was good. I got to set up the fades on my Stream Deck. And I'm driving, and I have my dad in the car, and common law's in the back. And I have the sunroof open. And when we stopped, my father gets out of the car, and common law whispers in my ear. She says, it looks like you have a pyramid of black dust on your head.
A pyramid of black dust.
So I guess I was using a little bit too much topic at the time. 888-659-3727. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
It's Morty from Brooklyn.
Morty, man, how are you?
Hello, Morty.
I'm good. Hey, and you're back, Joe. We missed you last week, man. I
missed you guys.
By myself.
See, now you know what I go through. It ain't easy, is it?
Yeah, I don't know if he actually missed you, dude. He sent in his fucking resume.
Yeah, you better watch out there, Joe. You never know. Actually, it's not true.
You gunning for the job.
Callers.
Well, I can understand why, because the pay is great.
It's the maybe we'll just make it the Mordecai and Tillman show, and I could just relax.
There you go.
No, I can't do what you do, Joe, because I got on there, and in about 5 minutes he lost all of his calls. So I can't do it.
Yeah, but
that's the calls are like just me on the back end calling from my other phones.
Yeah, that's not unusual though, Morty.
Yeah.
Just busting your balls. We happen to love your calls, and we couldn't do the show without you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Cool. Well, Joe, you're looking good. I like the beard. It's a good look for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, digging it.
It's actually going to be coming off
when
soon. I get tired of it quickly.
Oh, really? Is it just itchy, or what's the deal? Yeah, I know what you mean.
Not so much itchy, but sometimes I don't know. I've noticed myself having to actually comb it because it gets kind of kind of poofy, and so it's just more hair to deal with that I don't want to have to deal with.
You know what it's like trying to eat a cheeseburger or something like that on your face?
Well, it's not bad because I just did. Like that's why I was late to the show. I was eating a cheeseburger.
That's what I was saying. Because look at the cheese in your beard.
Yeah. Well, I could save it there. That's why it's called the flavor saver.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it great to complain about having too much hair, Joe? Isn't that great?
Yeah, but not really, because like if it's on my face, it's like a lot of people envy the fact I can have like this full beard with no gaps, but but what if it was like on my ass? It's like what's to envy about that, or my back, right? That's not that's where that statement just doesn't really jive with a lot of people, but I know where you're going with that, and I know what you mean. So yeah, but
yeah,
I tell you, like my beard. It wasn't even nearly this long when I was in Italy, having dinner with some friends in the industry, and Dr. Poswal from India was sitting right across from me, and he couldn't stop staring at me. And we've known each other for a long time, off and on, and I finally put my fork down. I was like, Doc, what the hell are you staring at? And he goes, the things I could do with your beard. I could easily get 3,000 grafts from your beard and put them in your crown. I'm like, dude, it's 7 o'clock. We're in Italy having dinner with Italians. Enjoy yourself. Stop it with the hair talk for 5 freaking minutes.
I'm glad that he followed up with, using it for a transplant as opposed to something else that could have come to mind.
Yeah, well, then he tried to sell me a hair transplant training course. So,
oh,
geez. Everybody's working. Everybody's working.
Dude, everybody's working at all times. Just go on your Instagram scroll. Check it out. It is ridiculous, man. I'm so tired of, and this is going to sound like I'm a hater, but I'm not. I'm just so tired of every fucking influencer in every fucking space in the world. Everybody's telling you how to fucking make money. Everyone's telling you where to get your hair. Everyone's telling you how to do this. Everyone's trying to inspire you. Just fucking live your lives, man. Sorry. I go through my scroll, my feed. I'm just like, Jesus. And people are putting out these. I don't want to get there because this guy's going to know what I'm talking about. But.
I already know what you're talking about.
It's all such fucking happy horse shit. And everybody, they're addicted to these things. The world is run by 4 fucking people. So.
Well, anyway, I'm going to ask some questions. So I asked you some questions last week, and now that Joe's here, I can ask them again. So one of the questions that I asked was about.
Oh, Joe, wake up, man. Morty's asking you a question. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, I know. Let's hear it.
Here. I'm actually digging it up. So there was a treatment that this doctor here in New York is offering, and now of course I can't find the name of it because of course now that I'm on the phone with you guys, but it was an injectable. But it wasn't it wasn't exosomes. It wasn't any of those. It's something which, let's see here.
Was it mesotherapy?
Now, of course. No, it's
something with a P, right? It's something with a P.
Yeah, it's PP.
Peptide? Copper peptide?
It's not copper peptide.
Yeah,
it has copper peptide.
That's what was in it. It was the brand name is the name that Spencer is mentioning, and of course I'm digging through the emails here.
For some reason I can't remember it. But yeah, this is a product that you can buy online. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, because it basically was a combination of copper peptides and fibroblast growth factors.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're selling it, and it's supposed to be applied with there it is, Pep Factor is what it's called.
Pep Factor, right?
Yeah. So this is an IHRS member doctor here in New York, and he's offering it, and so I wanted to find out from you whether you knew of it at all. Is it something that you have any knowledge of, and what you thought of it?
He already asked me this yesterday, Joe. I mean, not yesterday, last week. Seems like
last
yesterday.
week, yeah.
So you're wondering if I've heard of it, or if I have any sort of insight into it, or any sort of no.
Okay, that's a fair enough answer.
Well,
I mean,
no,
you're not going to make shit up. So.
No, but I tell you, I when I hear copper peptides and hair in the same discussion, I start to get a little nervous, only because I remember back when copper peptide spray was the preferred post-operative treatment after a hair transplant.
Interesting. Okay.
In fact, I used it after my first hair transplant with Dr. Wong. I remember them trying to sell it to me as well, which is a memory just popped in my head.
I'm not going to name the brand, but this was a big brand. It was one of those things that were really selling like hotcakes back when I started in this field. And there were a couple of products like that.
And with that being my first hair transplant with Dr. Wong, and then having like 17,000 others since then, without using copper peptides, I can legitimately say that I noticed zero difference in healing. In fact, some of my subsequent procedures healed faster, and that was the intended goal of using copper peptides. Copper peptides.
There was a guy online years ago. His name was Dr. I think his name was it Picard, or is that from Star Trek?
That's Star Trek.
That would be from Star Trek.
But it's something like that. And God, my fucking memory. And he was, relatively, he was well respected in the field, and he had these products. And it's funny, when I came into this industry early on, I'm noticing there's a handful of doctors who were selling stuff. There's this guy Proctor and this other guy, and they were all kind of like battling on, at the time, alt.bald spot, before message forms even existed. And everyone's talking about these products. And, the press would pick up sometimes, or they send out press releases and get some press. Listen, I purchased them too. We all did. We're talking about 25 years later. If these products really worked, there'd be a lot less people going to Turkey for hair transplants. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Makes sense.
I always take these things with a grain of salt. If there's an IHS member who is selling laser caps, or who believes that these copper peptide and these growth factor injections can benefit you, if they're cheap enough, what's the harm? You could also buy them online, and you can actually, speak to them and say, look, I want to buy them myself. Would you mind, if it's cheaper for you?
Did you ask anything? Sorry, did you ask? First off, was this offered to you in person at a clinic?
No. So I put in a call to a local IHRS member here in New York, a doctor whom I actually had planned to see before I moved to Florida, and since I'm back, and the idle hands and the devil's plaything is I made an appointment with him. I'm going to see him next month. I was discussing with their consultant, and I talked about exosomes because I wanted to find out if this particular doctor had offered, and he said he didn't, but he offered this thing. And when I see the doctor, he'll be able to make an evaluation as to whether it's worth the effort or not. So I figured, hey, I'm going to go do that. Let me talk to my boys here and see what they have to say.
Did you ask any questions about the copper peptides, what they're supposed to do, or the sorry, what was the other ingredient they mentioned?
So it's called Pep Factor, and if you look at the Pep Factor website, I found this stuff on my own. They just told me about Pep Factor. I did my own research at what Pep Factor was, and if you go to the Pep Factor website, they talk about the two main ingredients being copper peptide, GHKCU, and fibroblast growth factor, or FGF.
I think I told you, Joe, a few years ago, our undercover doc came to me and said, look, man, they're selling this shit at the IHRS. I think this is going to be gold. You maybe white label it, get the American Hair Loss Association seal on it, and we'd make a killing. And I was like, no, man, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
So, yeah. But, they didn't make any claims. The consultant didn't make any claims. He said, look, we'll see you. When we see you, we'll make a determination. And, and that's fine. What else I wanted to tell you guys? So I decided to buzz my head again. I buzzed it down to a 1 because I wanted to see what the hell was going on. And I'm a little bit concerned. I'm noticing that, and I kind of noticed this before. I looked back after I did like a 1, and I kind of looked myself in the mirror, and I look at what was going on, and I noticed that my parietal humps are looking a little thinner, perhaps, than they had before. But
did you ever think you'd be saying that? You ever think you'd be actually stating that publicly, that my parietal humps look thinner? What a world.
Yeah, right? I wouldn't, you know what, before you guys, I wouldn't even know what the fuck a parietal hump was.
Yeah, that's what's so funny about it.
A parietal hump would be something like, I meet some chick from Parieta and I'd hump her. That's
right.
Kind of what...
Hello.
Doctor, I think my parietal humps are thinning.
Last night.
What a fucking world, man.
So,
let me interject here real quick, Morty, and just tell you what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at I looked up Pep Factors, and I found this place selling it. They got pictures of the vials. You can buy a 3-pack, 6-pack, or a 12-pack. And I'm looking at the pictures that they're utilizing, and they got this guy with probably a 2-guard cut across the top of his head and the sides, and they got what looks like a progression of photos. And it's a square image with 4 images inside, filling all 4 quadrants. And what I'm looking at, it's funny because as more hair supposedly grows, the darker the image becomes. which is a classic trick. Then I look at the other one. They got 3 more sets of photos, and you can obviously see a difference. But the images are so bad; they're literally taken like a camera. They stuck a camera in front of a video screen where the photos were. So these images aren't even taken of the patient; they're taken of a monitor, a computer screen, because you can see the pixelation on the image of the actual computer screen. And I learned a long time ago that when you have to be so desperate to get photos for your product to where you can't even get photos of the actual patient, they have to be photos taken on a monitor. That means they could come from anywhere, and God knows where they're taken from. So that in and of itself completely delegitimizes anything that's trying to come across
Joe,
as a product.
can you see me?
Here,
thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah.
I see both.
Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Guys, I wouldn't even do. Yeah, I wouldn't even be wasting
Thumbs
your time
down.
if this didn't come from an. Yeah, I appreciate that, Joe.
Dude, he's like fucking
And like I
Caesar,
said
man.
before-
Ask him a question. If he does this, it's done.
Done.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wouldn't even be bothering you guys with this, except that it came from an IHRS doctor. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be talking. So.
But listen, all I care about, I have to say it, we want people to walk away who decide to have surgery with a decent result and without being disfigured. I have no clue half the time what these guys are selling in their offices. That's just the reality. This is the nature of this business. So it really is, I think this is what I've learned. When I first got into the field, there were guys who were really against any of these ancillary, selling these ancillary products. But as the field became more competitive, I started to notice some of the most ethical surgeons in the field starting to sell all kinds of shit. Shampoos and conditioners and sprays and energizers and lasers and, this, that, and the other thing. That's the way that it is. What are you going to do?
I gotcha. Anyway,
you're enjoying your Chinese laser caps. So obviously, you think that it's having some benefit, and there are plenty of people who are selling laser caps in their practices, and they're claiming that their patients are getting a benefit, and their patients believe they're getting a benefit. So, like Joe says, it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah,
it may be helping.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear you.
That's about the best endorsement we can give. All right, man.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, that was one question. The other question was, and again, I was talking about this because I buzzed my head just to kind of, because I was just getting very annoyed, because I've gotten some growth
Spencer,
in the
your
top.
pouch is really loud.
Yeah. Sorry. Callers, hold on. Morty's got to continue. Hold on for a second. Go ahead.
Real quick. Okay. Well, I'll make this quick. So I decided to cut the hair really short to see what was going on because I've been trying to work a style with the hair on the top because I'm getting some growth there. And at a certain point, it just gets a little ridiculous, and so I just shave it all the way down, and then things look a little less insane. And that's when I noticed, like I said, the sides, the parietal hump sides, are a little bit thinner than I remembered them. It's one of the reasons why, before we do anything else, I want to do something like an exosome to just make sure that everything is a lot stronger before I even consider doing anything else. And that's kind of why I wanted to investigate that stuff. Anyway, that's pretty much all I was going to say.
All right, Morty.
Well, one thing you need to do, Morty, is take photos of your progress.
Mm-hmm.
Same room, same lighting, preferably with no windows, so that you can control the lighting from different times of the day. And if you're going to shave your head, take a picture of it.
Yep.
And then compare it to any photos that you took in the same place when you also shaved your head. If you haven't done that, then keep this photo, and then 6 months from now, if you decide you want to shave your head again, then do it, and then put them side by side. Don't use a flash because it washes out the images. It makes any hairs that you can see normally invisible. And yeah, I mean and keep in mind that when you do shave your head, it makes it accentuates issues. So even people with a full head of hair, they shave their head and they can see their scalp and they start losing their shit, thinking that they're losing their hair. It makes things. It completely changes perspective, and it's not like I understand why you want to, start investigating and looking closer, but don't lose your shit over it. It's like it's normal for it to look thinner, so keep that in mind when you're doing your self-analysis.
Yeah, you know what, Joe? Thank you so much for that, because I need as usual. Why'd I call you guys? Because you talked me down, and I appreciate every single call. All right, I'm gonna let the next person in. Thank you, guys.
I gotta tell you, I gotta find someone who can talk me down. I have no one who can talk me down. It's Yom Kippur, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't have a shofar.
I hear you, bro.
Sorry. All right, dude. Take it easy. Happy New Year,
you, man.
Okay.
Take care.
See you, Morty.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
The high holy days. I don't have any family. Let's think about that, Joe. Put that in your fucking bag of tricks.
Got one guy over here looking for sympathy, another guy over here with a guilt complex. What a combo are we?
Phone number is 888-659-3727. I remember there was a guy that we used to work with that was in the field that's no longer in the field. And, when I moved to Los Angeles as a Jew, essentially, if you know other Jews, because there's so few of us in the world, even though we're concentrated into certain areas of the country. When it's Passover, you usually invite, especially if they're your friend, if they don't have family who are Jewish, you invite them to a Seder. So I'm like, I wonder when this motherfucker is going to invite me to a Seder. 10 years, the guy didn't invite me to a Seder, and he lost his shit when I started a message for him. Just saying. 888-659-3727. And the one thing that he did invite me to, I had to pay for.
His wedding?
No, actually, that's the second thing that he invited me to. But I ended up paying. I mean, I gave the guy a fucking awesome fucking gift. Fucking people are just.
And he gave you a big fuck you.
That's usually the way. That's honestly, that's the way that it is in this world. So whenever you do anything in life, you just have to do it for yourself. Don't expect anything in return.
So anyone that's actually a friend of Spencer Kobren, he's testing you if he gives you a gift.
That's true. It's a fucking test. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Outstanding.
Right.
We got that out of the way. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Johnny from Texas.
Johnny, man. And that's a state that I'm considering moving to.
Texas is great. How you doing, Johnny? What part of Texas are you in?
Doing it. Austin.
One of the best towns. Very cool.
Yeah.
Where Joe Rogan just moved.
He did. Set up shop there.
Oh.
Hanging out. He's hanging out with what's his name? King of podcasting. Adam Curry.
Joe Rogan podcast?
Adam Curry.
Oh yeah, Adam Curry.
Adam Curry invented he invented podcasting.
Yes.
So what's up, man?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I've been listening to the show on and off for 8 years, and it's been life-changing. So it's a great job what you guys are doing. My question is, do you guys have any advice for someone who's taking finasteride and wants to have a child?
My personal advice is, first of all, how long have you been on finasteride?
About 7 years.
Okay. Most doctors will tell you that there has been no evidence showing that there were any issues with A, impregnating somebody, and B, any adverse or any type of birth defects caused by the man being on finasteride while he impregnates his wife. I know a lot of people have had children, no problem. For me, I'm a different type of a person. I don't want to be the anomaly. And if something did happen to the kid, I'd be thinking for my entire life, maybe it was my finasteride use.
Yeah.
So I couldn't deal with that. I know that Specs had twins who are like super smart and athletic, and they're all together, and they're not fucked up in any way that I could see. They're good kids. And Zarian just had 2 kids. They're great, super smart, beautiful, got all the fingers and toes, thank God. I know my friend Raph, he's got a kid. A lot of people. There's no data showing that there's any potential for this. I would definitely really plan it out, get off it for a couple of weeks before you start trying. That's just me. Joe, what do you think? And again, I'm not a doctor.
The only reason why I would even consider not taking it while trying to conceive is because all you crazy fuckers out there saying that it causes 2 heads and 3 arms, it kind of gets to you. So that's the only reason why I'd consider it. But there's zero evidence out there, like Spencer said, 100%, that says that there's any sort of, or documents any correlation. The issue that everyone, that you should be aware of is that, if you hold any sort of medication, especially ones that are not coded, there's a potential for them to actually absorb through your skin, at least a little bit into the bloodstream. So they advise that, if the female that you're trying to conceive with is anywhere near it, she shouldn't be holding it. She shouldn't be touching it. And of course, obviously shouldn't be ingesting it. But that's the only known potential. And even with that, I think that I don't think there's any sort of documented correlation between the potential issues and actual issues manifesting in
there's nothing in the product insert.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
So in a case like this, though, I think that if it were me, I would look at it like this. If I go off of the medication for a month, will it really destroy any progress or maintenance that I've held on to for the past 20 years? And is it worth, just making sure you're completely clean going in? I think it is. I think it is worth going completely clean into that kind of situation.
Well, and here's the thing, though. You don't know when you're going to be able to conceive. Everything's fucking has to be timed, and they got their legs up with their thermometer and all this shit, and they're counting. And
wait, which one?
The woman. And
okay. Fuck, I was
you don't know if it's going to take you 2 months or 3 months, if you're going to connect the first couple of times. You just have no fucking clue. So I could see the anxiety. For me, I'd be like, listen, we're going to give this a month. We're going to store the rest. And I'm going to get back on this stuff. And we may have to artificially inseminate you. That's how nutty I am. But no, I honestly, I always advise that people get off the drug just as a human being. I'm not a doctor. Just as someone who would have to live with the potential of something happening to my kid. And even if it had nothing to do with the finasteride, if the kid was a little off, that would be on my mind for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Okay. This is what I've heard. Now, about getting off of it, how long does it take for you to be clean?
Actually, well, here, finasteride has a very short half-life. So essentially, within, I think it's 12 hours, half of it is out of your body. Half of it's undetectable. It'll be, within a week, you won't see a trace of finasteride, and you can talk to your doctor about this. It takes about 2 weeks for your DHT levels to get back down to baseline. And then it'll take several more weeks for that DHT to start affecting your hair follicles, as far as minutes. So there is a window. Like, I have been at times where I haven't taken the drug in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. People would freak out, but it never really affected my progress, or it never really affected my results over the last 20 some odd years. I have lost some gains, though, and I spoke about this last week. But I would say that it's possible to be off the drug for 6 weeks and then get back on it, and you may not even really miss that much of a beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, or just find a woman who doesn't want to have kids.
There's that.
How old are you?
Okay. I'm 30.
Oh, you're 30. Well, I guess if you're going to have kids, it's a good age to have them young. How are you? You're married, I'm assuming.
Not yet,
Okay.
but just thinking about it, thinking towards the future.
So you know what? We may not even live to the future, dude. Enjoy your finasteride. You know, you probably married
Enjoy
a couple.
your hair.
You probably be married a couple of years before you decide to have kids, right?
Yes.
What are you even calling, man? Don't worry about it. Enjoy your hair.
Well, it's just something I couldn't find a lot of research online, and even from the podcast, so that's why.
In 2 years, she can come to you in tears saying, you know, I can't, I don't want to have kids. I'm sorry. You don't know. So, but yeah, I mean, that's me, you know. Your doctor will probably say there's no issue. But I'm a mental case, and I would really not, I couldn't deal with the fact that I didn't do everything that I could to make sure that the kid was okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. I hope that helped.
All right, that helped. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Guys, the phone number is 888-659-3727. We had all lights lit about 4 minutes ago, and everyone dropped. So if you want to get in before we close up shop, call now. Phone number 888-659-3727. Now, I've had doctors on the show who have contradicted me when I've said that. And I know what the data says. We could all read, we all know. But you know what? Why be the anomaly, risk, someone's life?
Mm-hmm.
Look,
Exactly.
did my mother smoke and drink Manhattans until I was born during her entire pregnancy? She did. Did I turn out okay? I'm not entirely sure, but as far as the physicians would say, when I was born, everything was A-okay. I have a movement disorder. I have OCD, shit like that. But, as far as looking normal and essentially being able to function in society, I'm doing all right, I think. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from? Hello? Caller, you just hung up on me, man? Fucking.
Hello?
He hung up. Line's dead. I'll give it one more second, and then I'm just going to call it a day. 888-659-3727. Got an interesting comment, Joe, to last week's program. I thought I would share it. I thought I would share it on the air, and this is not to embarrass you, but it's a good one, and I think that it's. I found it interesting. Guy contacted me, loves the show, and he said that he noticed that it seems like Joe is more enthusiastic when he's doing his videos than when he's doing the show with you. So he wanted to know if it was a me thing or if it was a you thing.
It's an editing thing. If that makes sense.
I think he was a little concerned about you looking at the phone and shit like that, which I don't really care about.
Oh, well, I'm actually, if you want to know the truth of it, I'm looking at some stuff that people are sending me that has to do with topics that we're talking about. And some messages that came, like one guy who called in 2 weeks ago just sent me a message asking, I had asked for some documentation about his case, and he just sent it through. So I'm actually working, which isn't really work because I don't get paid for it, but just helping people, and sometimes it does correlate with what we're talking about. So Yeah, it's not about enthusiasm. It's about multitasking. In my videos, I'm not multitasking. And the enthusiasm I show on those, I actually have to pump it up. It's like, okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey, this is Joe Tillman, hair transplant mentor. You know, I got the face and the boisterousness, and it's all an effort, man. It's all a sham.
It is.
All a sham.
Well, I'm sorry.
Really
Were you saying
in real life.
something?
What? Hello?
Is this thing on?
This thing on? Hello?
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to call it a night because no one's calling in, so go fuck yourselves.
Good night.
Not even going to give out the goddamn website. Let's give out hairtransplantmentor.com. That's Joe Tillman's personal website, hairtransplantmentor.com. And check it out. Check out Joe's channel on YouTube. That's youtube.com/hairtransplantmentor. You guys know all of my websites. I'm tired. I don't want to give them out. Thebaldtruth.com. You can check out. IHRS.org. I mean, why not? AmericanHairLoss.org. That's a winner. Bald Truth Talk. That's a forum, you know. I mean, God, I hate the forums, but I guess they're necessary.
Mr. Rolandis. Whoa, Spencer just dropped a line. I think it was with the "go fuck yourselves" comment. I could be wrong.
I don't know what he's talking about. All right, guys, listen. Until next time, be well. God bless, and thank you so much for listening. Take care.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the program, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the exits at the rear, that'd be splendid. Thank you. Good night.